Coach Sean Nahas here with us after the Courage victory. We'll start with an opening statement, then I'll turn it over to questions. Please, we have a reporter in the room that will go first. Then we'll turn it over to questions via Zoom. Please use the hand raise function so I can call on you appropriately. Sean, we'll start off with this opening statement after the 1-0 victory here on the road in Washington.
Yeah, great performance by the group. We talked to him a lot, or I talked to him a lot before the game, just about certain characteristics that I was going to take, and that I didn't want them to be special. I just wanted them to be committed. And that was a really committed performance. I thought first half, I thought we were really, really good. Last 5-7 minutes of the first half, I thought they had us on our heels a little bit. And then second half, the game sort of we nulled each other out. But that was important for us on the road to get our first win. Big 3 points against a really good team. And yeah, really, really proud of this group.
Roe, you're in the room, so let's take it away with questions for Sean.
Right. Well, I was here. Well, right off the top, seems like you got a pretty early goal there from Ashley. Like, how much did that change things in terms of the gameplay against the team like the Spirit?
Yeah, it didn't really change much. I think if anything, it just let us settle down a little bit. It allowed for us to really stick to our game plan and the ideas that we wanted and the spaces that we wanted to play in. I thought Ash was absolutely fantastic tonight. I know that this was a tough one for her to come back to, but the crowd was really professional and respectful to her for all she's done here at the club. And yeah, I think if anything, it settled us down and allowed us to dictate the game a little bit more rather than, once you go up a goal, you sort of teams have to come out a little bit and do things a little bit different. I think it opened up some spaces for us to continue to play.
And then having Ashley kind of central up top there, being able to finish and put a goal in the back of the net and just play that role for you guys offensively. It seems like that's been something that's been missing a lot so far this season. But how do you see that translating into, being able to consistently have someone, whether it's Ashley or anybody else that you put up top, be able to put the ball in the net and, turn it into more consistent success?
Yeah, I mean, I think people have to remember we have 7 starters out with injury right now. Caro, Olivia Wingate, who just got cleared. Sydney Collin, like we're holding on here, and we've had players step up and got a lot of minutes that maybe haven't had a lot of minutes all year. But I've been talking with Ash the last couple of weeks because she's been pressing, and she cares a lot and she puts a lot of pressure on herself, and I've just been trying to take that pressure off her and let her just be free and not restrict her in any way and let her solve the game based on the feel of the game that she has. And I'm really happy for her to start pulling the trigger. And yeah, I mean, she deserves this moment. It's funny how sports works a little bit. But yeah, if this could be the new foundation for Ash, then I think the sky's the limit for her.
And I'm not sure if I have it right, but I didn't think there were any shots for the Spirit in the second half until stoppage time. What did the defense do right to stymie the very potent Spirit offense tonight?
I don't think they did anything right compared to what we challenged them to do. I felt in the first half we were turning the ball over in front of their line, so the transition moments were open a little bit more. The turnovers that happened in the second half were a little bit more behind and in the wider channel, so it took out Croy, it took out Trin, and it allowed for us to be able to reestablish our press a little bit more. So we just adjusted a few things and split the differences in certain areas, but I thought we were much better in the ball and a little bit more calm and managed the game better, and never really allowed them to sort of get into a rhythm.
Thank you.
We'll turn it over to Zoom again. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We have a couple up already. Jeff, ESPN, will let you start it off.
Thanks, Sean, for doing this. You mentioned the moment, for Ashley. What do you say to her? What did you say to her ahead of that, knowing the emotion that's in that coming back to DC?
I just pulled her aside right when we walked out, and asked her if she's okay, and said, "Go be yourself, be brave, trust yourself." That's all I needed to say. We have a good enough relationship that sometimes you just need to know you have to be simple in what you say, not complicate things, and trust her enough to be able to do it. She's a special player. Yeah, we're thrilled to have her with us. And, like I said, if this could be the new base for Ash, then I think people are going to be talking about her a lot more.
And at a team level, I mean, you got a little bit of momentum now, one more week before the big summer break. How important is that to have, that momentum going into what's going to be a long break to kind of make sure you're in the right spot in the table?
Yeah, well, since all the writers kept saying we struggle, this is good for us. And instead of people saying that we struggle, they should look at the reality of our situation and realize that we're struggling not because of any other reason than we're having the depth of our roster has shrunk because of injuries. But all people talk about is Courage is struggling, can't score goals. Courage is struggling. No one talks about the performance. No one talks about anything else. They just talk about struggle. And I think that's unfair to the team. I think that's unfair to the players. I think that's unfair to all the teams in this league when people talk about that. You know, we're all talking about the top teams, but there's a lot of good football going on in other teams as well. And I think that needs to be praised a little bit more too. So for us, we're not worried about what other people say necessarily. I tell the players not to read that stuff. I read it because I think it's funny. But I also know what the work that our players put in every single day to have this moment. And anytime you can get a result, you know, especially on the road, hopefully now people can start talking positively about us.
Thanks, Sean.
Victoria, go ahead.
Hi, Sean. Congrats on the win. Kind of jumping from that your last statement, I think if anybody had asked you going into the month of June, would you take 7 points out of that month? I probably would have gladly said yes. But it also seems like, you know, in those 7 points, you guys have kind of gotten out of 3 big freight trains in Chicago and Orlando and Washington, and have really done well against them with team defense. And I think in particular, Sully and Narumi just raised the bar even higher tonight. Can you talk about their performance?
Yeah, Sully and Rumi were great. You know, we flipped Sully to the left side today for certain reasons that I won't explain, but I thought she had a really good performance. You know, I'll be honest. I don't think we've had a bad performance all year, minus the Orlando away game and Houston away game. If someone can tell me another bad performance we had, I'd love to talk to you about it. I just think we've just lacked the final third piece. And when you're not scoring goals, it puts pressure on the defensive side, and a lot of goals come off of our transition moments, our turnovers. So we've really focused on adjusting some things. We saw some tendencies that we had in possession that we ironed out this week, and I think we saw the fruits of our labor there. And credit to our back line and our possession. Our possession numbers have been really good. Obviously, our defensive group has been much more calm and stable, and you know, we just have a better structure, and that's important. And sometimes it takes time. You know, yeah, we have players missing, but we also lost players. You know, we're playing players in new positions. We lose Tess, we lose Foxy, we lose Britt, we lose Frankie, we lose all these players. And now you have a whole new team coming in, and you're trying Vic Pickett as 11, you're trying Vic as a 9, you're trying Pinto as a 9. You know, you have Danny coming in and starting to still understand, having Ash as a new player to the system. Feely's a new player. It's not as easy as just doing that. When you're sitting on your couches, when people sit on their couches and write that, you know, all this stuff, it's really difficult. And when you have players like Rumi and Sully that can lead the way a little bit, it brings a sense of calm to our group. KK's been outstanding. Malia's starting to come into her own again. You know, and I think we're starting to see really good signs from Vic. I think we're starting to see, you know, Tyler's carried us in the final third a bit. So, you know, we're starting to get Liv healthy now. Caro's not far off. Sid's not far off. So, you know, we have Vine coming in. Like, we have numbers coming in now, and there's more to come. We're not done. And I think if we can continue to have this foundation and have players have this performance level, then I think people will continue to talk about us. And it may not lead that way, but we're going to continue to play our brand of football, and hopefully that's attractive and entertaining for everybody.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Great. That's all the hands. Sean, thank you.